What's up, people? This is Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play, and this is the next episode. This is actually, what is this? This is update 3 of the Ultimate Legends roster that I'm building for my MyLeague. You guys know I got doing a couple MyLeagues. One of them is just going to be a single season thing. It's the going home, so I'm putting everybody with their hometowns. This one is the ultimate joint, which is going to be the one that I use as franchise to go continuous seasons. So I'm not going to do a whole recap of the 6 people that I've already done, but in this particular episode, I mean, you can actually, if you want to check the playlist, go ahead and go backwards in the playlist. You can see the first 2 episodes. In this one, we're going with this man to start off, Artis Gilmore, the A-Train. Now, in the NBA, Artis Gilmore had his best seasons with the Bulls, so that's why he's here with the Bulls. But he's actually had his best years, period, as a player in the ABA with the Kentucky Colonels. So we took basically the best season that Artis Gilmore had in the NBA, and that was early, relatively early on. But if you really look at where he was in his career at the time, he might have been, you want to say, maybe just past his prime, or you could make the argument that when he got with the Bulls that he was still in his prime, but it was pretty close. A lot of people don't really realize or remember or understand, when you hear some of the best basketball players or the best big men ever discussed, Artis Gilmore's name doesn't jump up, but he was really, really a beast. I mean, the year that I used for the Bulls, to base these ratings off, is the 78-79 season with the Bulls. He averaged 23.7 points, 12.7 rebounds, and blocked 1.9 shots. He shot 57% from the field. Now later, just a couple years later, he actually led the league in field goal percentage 4 years in a row. So taking good shots the whole 9. So based on all of that, I gave Gilmore an 88 overall rating. Now you might be looking at those shoes. They standing out, right? What I realized is that through Shoe Creator, you can create shoes, any shoes or whatever. I knew you could create shoes in Shoe Creator. I had a series before called Soul Provider. Might do that again at some point, I don't know. But I didn't realize that when you create a player, you can just give them whatever shoes. So I gave Gilmore these old school Adidas because when I was looking back at the pictures, he was wearing old school shell toe looking Adidas. So I try to make them as basic as I could, and that's what we came up with. So Gilmore's an 88. Take a look at some of these badges. He didn't get hit off with the badges too heavy. He's got some some good stuff in terms of defensive anchor. He was always a real laid back type of a guy. So that's why you see some of those personality traits equipped with the badge. So perhaps that'll help with the chemistry on the team or whatever one he lands with. Maybe you guys are. The way I'm going to set the roster up is I'm going to put them on their teams. But when I do my league, it's going to be done with a fantasy draft. So they could end up anywhere. But if you want to do one, of course, where you are just having the all-time Bulls or whatever, you can definitely do that. I don't know what we're going to do in terms of contract or whatever. You guys can do that right about now. He doesn't make any money at all, so we might have to, fix that or change that around. I don't know. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's Artis Gilmore. The next guy up is this man, Dan Issel, one of the arguably the greatest Denver Nugget ever, right? Arguably. I think you could make that case. He actually, the funny thing, coincidence, and this is actually, I didn't plan it this way, but Dan Issel and Artis Gilmore actually played together for the Kentucky Colonels in the ABA before both of them came over to the NBA. They won, I believe, I might be wrong about this, but I believe they won back-to-back ABA championships. So, and when in Issel's rookie year, in the ABA, he led the league in scoring 29.9 points a game. He was a really good player for Kentucky and hit the ground running when he got to the NBA. But I'm basing this off of NBA statistics, so I'm using actually his first year, because he went to Denver before, because the Denver franchise was part of the ABA before the merger. So I'm using his first year in Denver, which was still technically in the NBA, but was for the Nuggets franchise. That was the 75-76 season, 23 points a game, 11 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. Now, the Gilmore, I thought I did okay with in terms of making his face, but with this Dan Issel, I feel pretty good. I feel like, yeah, we got a good render of Dan Issel. Maybe I could have done a different color hair or whatever, maybe a lighter color hair. But overall, I feel pretty good about it. He also has on those Adidas. So that's it. And you'll be able to see a little bit better too if he had on one of the throwback Denver Nuggets jerseys. It'll probably stand out a little bit. You saw the rating though, 81. Wasn't that great of an athlete, but he was a good shooter, and he was a good shooter to the point where even though the three, like he shot the three a little bit, but I think that as a 3-point shooter, if he was playing in this day and age, he probably would be a little bit better. But since they actually did have the three in the ABA and he wasn't hitting it a lot, so I couldn't really give him the three. But he was a good mid-range jump shot shooter and a very good free throw shooter for a big man, especially. Almost shot 80% for his career as a big man. So I mean, 6'9", that's a good field goal. That's a good, very good free throw percentage. Looking at the badges for him, most of them are, he ended up holding a front office position with the Nuggets. So I ended up giving him the mentor thing. High work ethic, absolutely. Most any guy who's not blessed with great athleticism, who reaches, any level of greatness in the NBA, you pretty much got to know that the work ethic is very real high. Microwave, yes, the scoring. I mean, this dude, if you look at the scoring numbers that he put up in his career, and you look at clips of the way he played, is like if you let this guy get going, you in trouble. You're in trouble. That's why I also have him with the unfazed, because once he gets hot, that's it. Dead-eye shooter from the mid-range for sure. Fade ace, definitely shooting the fadeaways from the 15 feet, 10 feet in. Hustle points, give him that. Screen outlet, he was a kind of a wide body, so he set that screen. Whoever's on the business end of it is gonna feel it. And so, like I said, it didn't hit him with all that many. Definitely a scrapper, very good rebounder. So he's a good player for sure. So if you keep him on the Nuggets, you got a nice little deal going there with him. So that is Dan Issel. Next up is Dolph Shades. Originally with the Syracuse Nationals, but it's the Philadelphia 76ers organization. Got some video interference going on right there, but don't worry about that. As you see, I gave him 9 total badges. He only got a 79 rating. He dominated for his time for sure. For his time. But if you got to look at a few things, he was a 6'7" power forward center, weighing about 195 pounds. Obviously, in the NBA today, he would not have been, he's not going to dominate the way he did then. He just wouldn't. But you still got to give him some love for playing the way he played, being as effective as he was. So I took the 57-58 season, which he averaged 24.9 points a game, 14.2 rebounds. He shot 90% from the free throw line, right? So now the 3-point line, from the free throw line, he shot 90%. From the 3-point line, obviously, was not in effect when he played. He retired in 63-64. Actually, it was the first year they were in Philly. He retired that year. I think this render came out. So I did this one. I think I did this one pretty good. This one might be between this one and Issel and Reggie Miller for what I would say is the most accurate right now that I've done. So, he even though there wasn't a 3-point line, the way this guy could shoot, I would think that he took, because he did take a lot of outside shots. I could easily see him extending his range out to 3-point range, especially being, only 6'7". I can see him pulling that out. I did not make him, if you notice here, I made him a power forward. I did not make him a center. So he's just going to kind of be an undersized power forward. The 79 overall rating, you see, if you take a look at the threes, gave him a 73.3. Now that's a little bit of a, what you want to call it, kind of like a assumption or a conclusion. But I think it's a fair, decent assumption, because if you look at the fact that he shot 90% from the free throw line, so it's telling me he's a good either jump shot or set shot shooter. If you look at now, his field goal percentage overall is only like 38%. That tells me that he's getting a lot of shots away from the basket, because if at 6'7", during the time that he played, he would have been one of the bigger players. But he obviously is not taking a lot of shots close to the basket. He's also known for being a two-handed set shot shooter. They said basically he's the last guy to use that form of shot, the two-handed set shot. So of course, if you go and look here, even though this is somewhat broken the way this shows up, but it kind of shows up. So we took LD2K's shot form, and the closest thing to a two-hand set shot that we could find, I used. I could have used Sean Marion's, but I thought that was maybe a little bit too over the top. So we used this one for Danny Shades, or not Danny Shades. Danny Shades is his son, for Dolph Shades' shot form. So let's look at these badges. Got prime time, because he was the man for that squad, and pretty much you would know he's gonna have the ball late. Mentor, I gave it because his son played in the NBA for like 19 years. Danny Shades played in the NBA like 19 years. He was the heart and soul of the 76ers squad at that time. Hardened, I gave him that one too. All-time great, yep, definitely at that point in basketball history. The dead eye shooter for sure, and he doesn't have that many more, because you saw he's got a 79 as of right now. His overall rating is the lowest of any of the legends that I've made so far. So I don't know if anybody's gonna go beneath that, but right now he has the lowest rating. So that is that. So moving forward, I'll tell you guys what the next ones are going to be. It's going to be Jason Kidd with the Phoenix Suns. It's the one I'm using. Bob Pettit, Atlanta Hawks. And Adrian Dantley, which I believe is going to be with the Utah Jazz. But I got to make sure, but it's Adrian Dantley is going to be the third one. If you're wondering about guys like T-Mac and Yao Ming, they are coming. But I'm going in the order of the way they're rated on ELO ratings, which is what is considered like the top whatever players, top 100 players in terms of a number rating out there. So that's what I'm basing this on. So just be patient. All of those, I got a humongous list. As a matter of fact, I need to put this list. I'm going to put the list in the description so everybody will know in what order everybody's coming. So that'll be that. I appreciate y'all watching. Like this video, subscribe, follow. Peace.